Didi and John, both of you. John, I'll go to you first. Would you agree that the winners of this year's Champions League will come from Barcelona or Liverpool, and that the game on Wednesday night in the Camp Nou was of a different order in terms of quality of players, in terms of tempo? This was different stuff. This was real high-class football. John?
Oh, there's no doubt, Eamon. You know, it was great to watch. And compared to the Spurs Ajax game, definitely of a different quality. And it was a pleasure to watch. I mean, we had Messi, as we know. It came into the game and at his best for the last 20 minutes or so. I mean, he played okay up to that, but the 20 minutes was typical. Messi scored a goal and then scored a wonder goal. But the match overall, Eamon, I think the 3-0 advantage to Barcelona didn't really justify Liverpool's performance in the 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, there was a spell in the second half when they were only one down. I thought it was, well, if I was a betting man, I would have put a few bob on Liverpool scoring the next goal. But Barcelona survived that particular spell, and then Messi turns on the magic, and it's a different thing altogether. It was wonderful to watch, there's no doubt. And I still think Liverpool are in with a chance.
Yeah, Didi, it was a wonderful performance by Liverpool until the second goal, which I'll come to in a moment, because there's something particular about that goal, and the goalkeeper, Alisson, was really at fault badly. But the general performance by Liverpool, I thought, was quite outstanding. When you take the fact also that Firmino couldn't start, and he's such a big player for them.
No, it was. I agree. I don't think the scoreline reflected the game and the performance of Liverpool. They were excellent for most of the game. Where they've been let down was, I think, at the back once or twice.
Yeah.
You talk about the second. I would like to talk about the third one if we get a chance.
Oh, we have. Well,
let's talk the chances.
Well, let's talk about the second goal first. The goalkeeper, Alisson, has the ball, and he passes it out to Gomez in the right back position. Barca are on the press. It's madness. You're 20 minutes, 17 minutes to go. They're on the rack at that stage, Barcelona. They're nervous, they're jittery, they're edgy. They've brought on a fullback to hang on to their 1-0 lead, and you give them an opportunity to break play up. It's madness. In the end, I think the reason they were so worried is because Liverpool tried to play and pass the ball, and that's what they did for most part. You very rarely see a game to have more possession and more passes than Barcelona at the Camp Nou. No.
So I'm not sure whether I'd necessarily have a go. I think sometimes you have to play the percentages, but they pass the ball out for most of the game, and I think sometimes you have to accept. I think it's still a lot had to happen for the goal to be scored. And it's just unfortunate because Fabinho is tackling towards his own goal, which is always a danger because the defender doesn't expect it. And then they get a bit fortunate with a rebound off the crossbar. So I wouldn't really hold it against them. I think it was a very good performance. I think they showed on the week or during the week in the game how far they have come, because I think they belong there now.
Yes, they do, sure.
But obviously the scoreline is hugely disappointing, because if you play well and lose 3-0 to Barcelona, a good Barcelona, but not a vintage Barcelona, it's obviously not the best sign.
No, John, I looked at the third goal. Just go back to the second goal, John. I think you agree with me, because we talked about it during the game. This fetish now that's spreading through the game, where the goalkeeper has to play the ball out to defenders who are really going to be under pressure straight away. I think it's madness. I'm not sure who started it. Maybe it was Guardiola at City, but I think it's mad.
Well, I think that particular situation was mad, Eamon, and bad. But I go back to Didi's point there, Eamon, that if you want a team to do a certain thing, it's very, very difficult to pick out exactly when not to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're encouraging the goalkeeper to do it, and it's worked for 99% of the time, then it's up to the goalkeeper to pick out. But it's difficult. I think it's difficult for the goalkeeper to know, no, that's not on, because a lot of times he does pass it out when I think it's not on, but they play particularly well from that position.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to sit on the fence, Eamon.
No.
I understand when the goalkeeper did. I thought that's madness, and there are certain times all the teams, not just Liverpool, do it when the fullback or whoever to give it to is under pressure. But I think if you're going to, it's like playing when you're the man. You say, look, I want you to get out on the ball. Everybody get on the ball, no matter where it is, get on the ball. And somebody makes a mistake in that particular situation, then you can't stop it.
Okay.
You'd have to stop the whole lot then.
Well, judgment,
I can understand that.
I don't agree with you or Didi. You have to judge each situation on its merits. So, yes, of course you want to play out from the back if you can. But sometimes it simply isn't on. If the opposition puts
it's hard to pick it out from a goalkeeper's point of view. That's the point Didi's making, the point I'm making. That if you're going to encourage him to do that, then there will be situations where if the margins are very, very fine and he does it, and then somebody also has to make a mistake when he's done it.
Right.
I don't agree with the play now. I agree with a lot of what you agree with, which is that was a bad ball to knock out. But I do agree with Greedy's point, with the point that Didi's making, that the goalkeeper doesn't have that much time sometimes, and he does it because that's what he's been encouraged to do.
Okay. Now, I think Alisson's flaky anyway, Didi. And we come to the third goal. First of all, I thought Messi was clever to buy the free kick of Fabinho. I think Fabinho just stood there and Messi ran into him. But when Messi put the ball down to have a shot, I thought, great, he's not going to score from there.
Yeah.
And
no, exactly. Well, he I think he moved it 1 or 2 yards further forward.
He did,
so that's the first thing, because he moved it 1 or 2 yards further forward. And I'm exactly the same. When he put the ball down, I thought, this is too far out. He won't be able to score directly from there. As it happened, the goalkeeper puts the wall up. The ball goes kind of past. It may have just brushed Gomez's shoulder in the wall. So it means it kind of went round the wall.
Yeah.
Now, if it goes round the wall, if you've got a central free kick from that distance, we've seen it with Ter Stegen, the Barcelona goalie, away to Manchester United. There was a free kick even closer, and it was a bit further out, so it wasn't that central, and he never put a wall up. Because he said, I want to have a clear view.
Yes.
He didn't put a wall up. And I think from that distance, 28, 29 yards, I don't think you need a wall. If you put a wall up, he needs an extra man.
Okay.
He needs an extra man, and it would have hit the guy's chest or the guy's head, and it would have been cleared. But my suggestion would have been, don't put a wall up, because in the end, there's half a yard missing where he's laid.
Yeah.
And if you see his position, he's half a yard to the left of his goal, off central, when you look from behind. And that's the half yard that's missing. And I don't think a goalkeeper should have been or should be beaten from there.
No.
And it was certainly an avoidable goal. And I'm surprised that nobody or not many people really picked it up.
Yeah.
Because a third goal makes a huge difference. If you've got a goalkeeper of that quality, it cost 80 million. I've got you can't stop Messi during the game. He will always do things. But this goal was certainly avoidable. It's a fantastic strike. It's a great goal. But it was made possible by the way he put the wall up. Obviously then he's half a yard short of saving it. I think it's a goalkeeper's mistake.
Right.
And I think it's very hurtful and painful because, as I said, 2-0 or 3-0 does make a big difference.
Okay, John, we talked last night and you asked me if Gomez had pulled his head out of the way. I had a look on the internet. He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't.
No, I didn't see him.
Yeah, he didn't.
But going back to Didi's point, with the ball, actually, you might not remember, but I'll have to say it. I advocated that years ago.
Yes.
I know that.
Not
from a certain distance, because what happens with the keepers, and Didi said it there, he can't actually see the ball. He's depending on the ball to stop it.
Yeah.
Whereas if there was no wall, he could see the ball all the way.
But that's what Ter Stegen did at Old Trafford, and I agree with Didi. I agree with you as well, because if you got Messi on the training ground and you give him the ball 25, 30 yards from goal, he's never going to score.
No. Well,
Yeah,
maybe not never, but no, I always felt that the goalkeepers, when they put the wall up from that distance, they obviously can't see the ball. And the only time to see the ball is when it comes over the wall.
Yeah.
And it's too late.
Yep.
Whereas if you took the wall out of the way and say, okay, beat me from that distance.
Yep.
I think that would be, you don't see anybody doing it, but I think it should be done.
Okay.
From that distance anyway,
And the other thing is, Eamon, if you sometimes you do that after training, 10 players put the ball down 25, 30 yards. You know how hard it is without a ball to throw from 25, 30 yards against any goalkeeper in the world. It's almost impossible. You've got to hit it into the top corner. Yeah. And even then, it's sometimes saved by the keeper. And the other thing to add is sometimes it's easier. We know that he's an outstanding talent, Messi, and he can do that on any given day. But sometimes when you put a wall up, it's easier for the player because he knows where to aim.
Exactly.
Yeah, because he knows if he misses the first man, then he's on it. It's a lot easier to hit that ball when you've got a wall there because you've got something to aim at.
Yeah.
And I think for a keeper of the quality, I think it was all round pro.
Both of you, Didi, I thought from the very first minute, they've rested Messi in the last 2 or 3 weeks. At the start of the season, he said this is what he wanted more than anything, the Champions League. I thought from the first moment of the game, he was ready to rock. He was on it, really amazingly hungry for it in a way I hadn't seen. We didn't see against Manchester United, for example. He strolled around quite a lot, but boy, he was at it the other night.
Yeah, scintillating. I think scintillating is the word. It started from the word go when he made one of his runs, followed by 2 or 3 players. And I don't think he's lost any pace. He's 32, I think, in July. Yeah. I think he's one of those players who's actually quicker with the ball than without the ball. And he keeps it so close to his feet. We know that it's very hard to nick it off him. And it's just a joy to watch. If you're a football fan, every day he plays or we see him play should be celebrated because he's such a fantastic talent. And if you look at the whole game, everything he does, it's not only when he dribbles, the way he passes the ball to his teammates, the weight on the pass, everything is just perfect. Yeah. And I don't think there's any doubt that he goes down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest. Yeah,
John, I certainly haven't seen anyone better. I don't like to put any one player above another, but I must say, you've seen more than me even, but I've never seen anyone better. He's an absolute joy, isn't he?
He's great, Eamon. His attitude is terrific as well. Yeah. And Didi made the point there as well. And when you watch him, Eamon, he always hits the pass that's on. Yeah. Now, sometimes that's only a 10 or 12 yarder. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's the right ball. Obviously, when he's picking the long ones out, they're more noticeable and more dramatic. But even the short pass, he picks it up, doesn't try to show off, doesn't try to do it. That's the right ball, gives it. Yeah. Gets on with it. He's a joy, Eamon, and he's definitely one of the greatest players of all time. It's very difficult to know who's the greatest player of all time because they come from different eras. All I say is, whatever was the best, he's up there with them. Okay, he's brilliant, and I love his attitude. He's a great example to all kids watching the game. This fella's not there to show off. No. But his show off has been brilliant. Yeah, for the sake of the team. Yeah, not just for himself. He's he's a great role model for any kid watching the game. Get on with it. Even when he scores, he goes over to the fella that's helped him, to help him score. When you see a lot of games now, somebody gets a tap in from somebody that's beaten 3 players on the end line, they knock it in, and they run over to the far corner flag, don't acknowledge their teammates. Now, that happens on a regular basis.
John, you think Liverpool still have a squeak on Tuesday night? Didi, you've been there, you've worn the shirt, you've probably got it on now. Have they got a squeak, Didi? 2 goals early on.
I still think they've got a chance, Eamon. If you look at the chances they created in Barcelona, if they create the same amount of chances, maybe 1 or 2 more, you would fancy them to score at least a couple, and then once you get it to 2-0, it's game on. So right. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Barcelona will score because, especially at home, they don't concede many goals, Liverpool. And they would have got a lot of confidence out of the first game because I don't think they were worse than Barcelona.
No, absolutely not. I thought they were better.
And Yeah, exactly. So no, I think they've got a chance. I think they're 12-1 to go through. I think that's too big, and it'll be a huge task, obviously, to score 3 or 4 goals. If they score, you need to score 5. But if any team can do it with a crowd behind, or any club could do it, I think it's Liverpool.
Okay.